Have you ever felt like you're being pulled in every direction, work, family, society, until there's nothing left for yourself? You try to please everyone, attempting to control things beyond your reach, yet all you get in return is exhaustion, anxiety, and a sense of being lost. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what am I really focusing on? Now, imagine reclaiming all that scattered energy and channeling it back into yourself. What if you directed your attention toward what you can control, your thoughts, emotions, and actions? This is the essence of Stoicism, a philosophy that has helped people overcome challenges for thousands of years through inner focus, self-discipline, and emotional mastery. In this video, I'll share 6 powerful lessons from Stoic philosophy that you can apply immediately to transform your energy. This isn't just about inspiration, it's about action. So take a moment to reflect on the path you're on and prepare for a journey of self-discovery. What are you really focusing on? Have you ever felt exhausted without knowing why? Like you're constantly busy but achieving little, stressed yet unable to regain control? You might think it's because of work, societal pressures, or external difficulties. But pause for a moment and ask yourself, is the real issue not the world around you, but where you're directing your energy? Imagine an hourglass where, instead of sand, your mental energy trickles down. Every thought, every worry, every emotion takes away a portion of it. But here's the key. You don't have an endless supply. You only get a limited amount each day. So the real question is, where are you letting it flow? Marcus Aurelius once said, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. This is a core principle of Stoicism. Suffering doesn't come from the outside world. It comes from how we focus on it. If you feel like you're losing control, maybe the problem isn't that life is too difficult, but that your mind is fixated on things that don't deserve your attention. Take a moment. Do you recognize what you're actually focusing on? Many people think they control their lives, yet most of the time, they control nothing at all. Their minds wander aimlessly, worrying about the future, regretting the past, obsessing over others' opinions. It's like sitting in a leaking boat, but instead of bailing out water, you keep drilling more holes. You might blame the world for your exhaustion, but if you keep pouring your energy into meaningless things, nothing will ever change. Your mind is like a room. If you constantly invite in negative thoughts, pointless anxieties, and uncontrollable fears, the space becomes cluttered, chaotic, and suffocating. But here's the truth. You decide who gets to enter. You can close the door. You can clear the space. And most importantly, you can choose where to let the light in. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that energy is only drained by physical labor or stress. In reality, most energy is lost through unnecessary thoughts, the silent leaks of your mind that go unnoticed. You don't feel exhausted because you're doing too much. You feel exhausted because you're thinking too much about things that don't matter. Are you worried about what others think of you? You just handed them your energy. Are you angry over a random comment online? You've just let a stranger dictate your mood. Are you dwelling on past mistakes? You just wasted energy on something you cannot change. The world doesn't care whether you worry or not, but you will suffer the consequences of your mental exhaustion. And one day, when you truly need strength to chase your goals, to overcome hardships, you'll realize you let the sand in your hourglass drain into meaningless things for far too long. Once you recognize you're wasting energy on the wrong things, you have 2 choices. Keep doing the same. Redirect it. And this is what separates a Stoic from the rest of the world. Stoics do have emotions, but they place them where they belong. Instead of spending energy worrying about what they can't control, they focus on what they can. Instead of letting emotions be dictated by others, they learn to observe them without overreacting. Instead of wasting energy on pointless arguments, they invested in refining themselves, sharpening their minds, strengthening their spirit. If you want control over your life, start by controlling where your attention goes. I know this isn't easy, but you don't have to walk this path alone. I'm here to help guide you. Understand this. Focusing on yourself isn't selfish. It's an act of acceptance. When you choose to direct your energy toward what truly matters, you must also accept letting go. Letting go of toxic relationships. Letting go of the craving for external validation. letting go of old habits that have held you back. This is what scares people most. Not everyone is ready to move forward, because moving forward might mean leaving certain people behind. But remember this, you can't move forward if you keep looking back. If you truly want change, you must accept that not everyone will come with you. Your life isn't a series of random events. It's the outcome of what you focus on. If you spend your life worrying about things beyond your control, you'll become a prisoner of your own mind. But if you learn to shift your energy from worry to action, from reaction to observation, from trying to control others to mastering yourself, then you will find true freedom. So here's my final question to you. Where will you let your energy flow? Will you continue to waste it on meaningless worries, pointless conflicts, and things that add no value to your life? Or will you choose to harness it to build the strongest version of yourself? Take a moment to reflect and tell me, will you take control or will you let your mind drift aimlessly? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments below. Even when people recognize the harm negative thinking causes, they often find themselves trapped in the same cycles. Have you ever wondered why negative thoughts keep resurfacing? Why do you keep returning to the same fears and insecurities? Your brain locks you into the patterns of the past. Stoic philosophy teaches that true freedom isn't about eliminating external circumstances, but mastering your reaction to them. As Epictetus once said, men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them. In other words, it's not the outside world that confines us, but the deeply embedded patterns of our thoughts. If you continue to see life through the lens of failure and fear, you are constructing a reality of limitations, rewiring your mind. Modern neuroscience confirms what the Stoics understood centuries ago. The brain possesses neuroplasticity, the ability to change. It's not a fixed structure, but a flexible system capable of forming new neural pathways. This means that by changing your thoughts, you can reshape your brain, and in doing so, change your life. However, here's the truth most people overlook. Your brain doesn't prioritize change. It prioritizes survival. And to survive, it follows the path of least resistance, repeating what is familiar. This is why breaking free from negative cycles isn't easy. It requires conscious intervention. Imagine a dirt path worn down by years of use. Every time you think in the same way, you reinforce that path, making it clearer and more defined. But if you want a new path, you must step into uncharted territory, through tall grass, uneven ground, and uncertainty. At first, this new path will be difficult, but with persistence, it will become your new default while the old path fades away. Breaking free from negative loops. How do you break free? Recognize the cycle. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. Step outside your own mind and observe your thoughts as a neutral witness. When a negative thought arises, don't immediately accept it as truth. Instead, ask yourself, is this real or is it just an old pattern? The moment you recognize a negative thought as a habit, its power over you begins to fade. Change your response. When negativity arises, don't react in the same habitual way. Don't spiral into worry, fear, or avoidance. Instead, pause. That moment of pause is the moment you reclaim control. Ask yourself, is there another way to see this? If you keep responding the same way, you'll keep getting the same results. Shift your perspective, and you'll create new outcomes. Mastering your mind and emotions. Transformation doesn't happen overnight. Your brain will resist. It will try to pull you back to what feels familiar. Some days, it may feel like you're back where you started, but this is normal. The goal isn't to eliminate negative thoughts completely, but to recognize them and choose how to respond. Every time you pause and choose a new thought, you carve a new path in your brain. And if you keep walking it, that path will become your new reality. So, the question remains, are you willing to change the way you think in order to change your life? Are you ready to step off the old, worn-out road and forge a new path? Or will you continue to live within the loops of your own mind? Remember, your brain does not control you, you control it. Energy flows like a river. Most people believe that controlling their energy means building a dam, trying to prevent it from being wasted. They think that they can hold on to it, stopping it from leaking into distractions like social media, negative news, or pointless arguments. They'll have more to devote to worthwhile pursuits. But what happens when you try to stop a river by blocking it? It overflows, breaks the dam, or carves unexpected paths. The Stoics didn't try to control energy in this way. They didn't suppress emotions, fight distractions with sheer willpower, or force themselves to focus harder. Instead, they directed their energy like skilled water engineers, carving channels to guide the flow towards something useful. Real control doesn't come from force, but from understanding the nature of the current and guiding it naturally. If you examine the habits that drain your energy, you'll notice a pattern. They don't actually deplete your energy. They trap it in endless loops. Regret about the past. Your energy isn't lost. It's locked in unchangeable memories. Worrying about others' opinions. Your energy isn't being used up. It's stuck in meaningless anxieties, drowning in negative news. You haven't lost energy. You've just redirected it toward things you can't control. So, how do you reclaim your energy without exhausting yourself trying to control it? A Stoic wouldn't waste effort trying to change the external world. Instead, they would refine how they respond to it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you'll find strength. When you stop resisting what's beyond your control, you stop wasting energy on battles you cannot win. Rather than trying to force life to flow according to their will, Stoics practice a more fatty, embracing everything that happens and making it part of their path. This isn't passive acceptance. It's using everything as fuel. When faced with obstacles, they didn't waste energy complaining. Instead, they asked, how can I use this to my advantage? Like a judo master who doesn't resist an opponent's attack, but redirects its force. Energy management isn't about containment. It's about intelligent use. To do this effectively, Stoics prepared in advance for the unexpected. One of their key practices was premeditatio malorum, foreseeing what could go wrong. Imagine starting your day knowing that someone might dislike you, that things might not go your way, that unexpected challenges will arise. When they do, you're not caught off guard, nor do you waste energy reacting emotionally. Instead, you simply think, I expected this. This kind of preparation prevents your mind and energy from being trapped by trivial frustrations. Above all, Stoics understood one fundamental principle. Only invest energy in what is within your control. Epictetus famously said, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not up to us." When you truly internalize this, you realize how much energy is wasted on things that don't matter. Imagine a glass shattering. You have two choices. Get angry, frustrated, and blame someone, or simply acknowledge reality and take necessary action. The situation remains the same, but how you use your energy determines your experience. So ask yourself, what would happen if you stopped trying to control energy through force and instead guided it in the right direction? What if you stopped suppressing negative emotions and instead use them as fuel for action? What if you accepted that bad things will happen, but refuse to let them drain you? Because real control doesn't come from clenching your fist. It comes from learning when to let go. However, no matter how well you manage your energy, if you constantly place yourself in an environment filled with negativity, distractions, and toxic influences, it's like trying to stay afloat in a leaking boat in the middle of the ocean. You might hold on for a while, but eventually, exhaustion will catch up with you. The Stoics understood that we are not only shaped by what happens in our minds, but also by everything that surrounds us. The people we interact with, the information we consume, and the habits we cultivate. Whether we realize it or not, our environment plays a crucial role in shaping the person we become. If you want to take control of yourself, you must first take control of the world you choose to belong to. But how do you do that? Let's explore how your environment defines who you are. Have you ever noticed that if you place a single crab in a bucket, it can easily climb out? But if you put multiple crabs together, the moment one tries to escape, the others pull it back down. Does that remind you of something? In life, your environment, the people you interact with, the space you live in, and the information you consume is that bucket. It can either lift you up or hold you back. And if you don't consciously choose the right environment, you'll end up being just another crab, dragged down without even realizing it. The Stoics believe that while we cannot control the world, we can control how we respond to it. Epictetus once said, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." This applies not just to people around us, but also to the physical and mental spaces we occupy. Who do you spend your time with? Where do you live? What kind of information do you feed your mind? These aren't just philosophical questions. They are fundamental principles that shape your energy and focus. Let's start with the most important factor: the people around you. Imagine yourself as a flame. If you're surrounded by other fires, you will burn even brighter. But if you're surrounded by cold winds, your flame will eventually fade. People work the same way. If you surround yourself with negative individuals who constantly complain and dwell in self-doubt, they will drag you down, just like the crabs in the bucket. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with people who have a growth mindset, who are disciplined and full of inspiration, you will naturally absorb that energy. The Stoics did not believe in blaming fate or circumstances. They believed in making conscious choices. And one of the most important choices you can make is deciding who gets access to your life. Beyond people, your living space also shapes your mindset. A cluttered room reflects a cluttered mind. If chaos surrounds you, focus and peace become difficult to maintain. The Stoics understood that the external and internal are not separate. Simplicity and order in your environment lead to clarity in your thinking. Look around your living space. Does it support your growth, or is it just another source of distraction and stagnation? Another often overlooked factor is the information you consume. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with news, social media, advertisements, and digital content. If you're not careful, your mind becomes a dumping ground for anxiety, comparison, and meaningless distractions. The Stoics taught that we should guard our minds like a fortress, allowing only what is truly valuable to enter. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If you continuously consume negativity, resentment, and doubt, that is what you will become. But if you dedicate time to learning, growth, and absorbing profound ideas, your mind becomes stronger and more resilient. So ask yourself, what are you allowing into your mind? From these principles, the solution becomes clear. 1. Cut off toxic influences. Be proactive in setting boundaries with toxic relationships. This doesn't mean you have to confront or hate anyone. It simply means prioritizing those who bring positivity into your life. If someone only brings negativity, complaints, and delays your progress, ask yourself, do I really need this person in my life? 2. Create an environment for growth. Your surroundings shape your mindset. A clean, minimalist workspace, a peaceful home, or any space that fosters focus and creativity isn't a luxury. It's an investment in your mental clarity. 3. Control the information you consume. Instead of mindlessly scrolling through social media, invest time in books, insightful articles, and meaningful conversations. Protect your mind like a treasure, because it is the most valuable resource you have. Changing your environment isn't as difficult as it seems. The hardest part is admitting that your current environment may be holding you back. No one wants to acknowledge that their friends might be dragging them down, or that they've wasted too much time on meaningless content. But awareness is a first step toward reclaiming control. The Stoics did not believe in complaining. They believed in action. You don't need to wait for your circumstances to change. You need to change what you can control right now. So ask yourself, if your environment shapes who you become, why let it be shaped unconsciously? If you truly want change, start now. Reevaluate the people you spend time with, the space you live in, and the information you consume. Do this not for anyone else, but for yourself. Because your mind deserves an environment that helps it grow, not one that pulls it down. If these words resonated with you, if they made you pause and reflect, then take it as a sign to commit to this change. The journey of self-improvement begins with a single step, and that step is yours to take. 3 powerful tools to transform your energy. Energy isn't just what fuels you through the day. It's how you shape your life, how you respond to situations, and how you invest in what truly matters. A mind without direction is like a torch in a strong wind. It may burn brightly for a moment, but it quickly flickers out, carried away by external forces. To sustain focus and inner strength, you need 3 essential tools. 1. Gratitude. Gratitude isn't just a feeling, it's a choice. Epictetus once said, He is a wise man who does not grieve for things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. A wise person does not dwell in scarcity, but focuses on the abundance of what they already have. When you practice gratitude, you shift your mindset from deficiency to appreciation. This transformation clears the space in your mind for contentment, leaving no room for worry, envy, or a sense of inadequacy. 2. Emotional detachment. Imagine your mind as a still lake. Every time you react emotionally to external events, a judgment, a minor failure, an uncontrollable situation, you throw stones into that lake, creating unnecessary ripples. The Stoics understood that inner peace doesn't come from controlling circumstances, but from controlling one's reactions, observing without being consumed, seeing challenges without letting them take over your mind, saves immense energy that would otherwise be wasted on useless reactions. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent. It means becoming wiser. 3. Reprioritization. Have you ever felt exhausted? Not because you worked too much, but because you spent too much time on things that didn't matter? Seneca once said, "Time is never lacking. It is only that we do not know how to use it." If you don't consciously decide where to invest your energy, the world will make that decision for you. When that happens, you'll be swept up in trivial distractions instead of focusing on your own growth. The Stoics refused to let this happen. They understood what truly mattered and channeled all their strength into those things, refusing to be scattered by the superficial. These 3 tools, gratitude, emotional detachment, and reprioritization, work together as solid pillars. Gratitude helps you recognize the value of what you have. Reprioritization ensures that your energy is invested wisely. When you master all 3, you will notice a profound shift in how you live. The power of choice. Everything comes down to choice. You can continue letting the outside world dictate your mood and energy, or you can take back control. You can keep chasing what isn't necessary, or you can appreciate what is already here. You can keep reacting unconsciously to everything around you, or you can learn to observe without being affected. You can scatter your energy into meaningless things, or you can direct it toward what truly holds value. The choice is always yours. And as a Stoic, you understand that no one but you has the right to make that decision. We have just explored 6 profound lessons from Stoic philosophy. Principles that not only help you regain balance, but also pave the way for a life of strength, intention, and true freedom. But knowledge only holds real value when it is applied. So ask yourself, where am I truly directing my energy? Toward endless worries, the expectations of others, or my own personal growth? When you shift your focus inward, cultivating your mindset, mastering your emotions, and letting go of what doesn't serve you, you don't just transform yourself. You generate a powerful energy that influences those around you. Your life is yours to shape, and that change begins right now.